and find that half of the truth that hasn't been told to us. And we can expect others to tell that to us, because they tell that to us, we'll recognize that they're not who they claim to be. 4 ancient versions of Torah. There are at least four ancient versions of Torah. There's the Orit Hailu, there's the Orit Lewawiyan, there's the Orit Likanat, there's the Orit Samrawiyan, or the Masoretic Torah, the priestly Torah, the Septuagint Torah, and the Samaritan Torah. So when they say to us Torah, what Torah are they speaking of? Are they speaking of the Orit Hailu, the Orit Lewawiyan, the Orit Likanat, or the Orit Samrawiyan? Now, there's a very interesting reference, and we'll get more into that in the more expanded version of this teaching right here, on the life and contendings of QewsTos. And Hailu Habtu in 1987, there was a preliminary notes on ancient Ethiopian history. It was put out as a, let me get this right here. I had that right there. Hold on for a minute. The life and contendings, here we go. The life and contendings of Hailu Habtu from the Department of History, or at the Department of History, the City College, City University of New York. In 1987, he had wrote this small volume, university-based volume called Preliminary Notes on Ancient Ethiopian History. And we was able to get a copy of this a couple of years ago. And it's very, very interesting. I don't know if the brother is still doing such work and has published some books, but definitely I would advise ones to try to get a copy of this, and we'll see about making this available to ones and ones. But it was in this document that we'd like to reference something here regarding the different types of Torah, the various different types of Torah, from our own, we could say, black witness. You understand how much that we hear about, who's a Jew and who's a Hebrew, you understand, is validated by others. Here we get our own people from our own root, you understand, disclosing to us half of the story that hasn't been told. And it really amazes me that you find a lot of so-called black Hebrew Israelites who be hating, that's the mildest way I can say it, you understand, in this sort of a forum, be hating on the Hebrew Israelites, and they be using the information of the Beliam, who are not the people, to go against the true people. And that really makes no sense, but perhaps that is telling us something even deeper. Hailu Habtu's preliminary notes reads like this. I want to share this with one-on-ones on the different type of ancient versions of Torah. You understand why we hold to the Ethiopian Torah, or Orit, you understand, and not to the other redactions of it. The status and date of the Ge'ez version of the Old Testament has not been satisfactorily determined by mainstream biblical scholarship, says Hailu Habtu, nor has the Ethiopian account been properly investigated or appraised. Yet, were the Ethiopian account found valid, it would have significant implications for the way ancient history is viewed, especially the Judeo-Christian heritage, i.e. our divine heritage, and derivatively the Islamic heritage. The text of the Ge'ez Bible and some of the Ge'ez manuscript sources, they offer us fascinating clues and leads that would help determine the status and date of the various biblical versions of the Bible, of the Torah, of the different scrolls, Megalot, and Ketubim, Nabim, Wazetaref, so forth and so on. Now, in the life and contendings of QewsTos, or QewsTos, some would say, the Gedele QewsTos is a translation of a Ge'ez, or Ethiopic passage, which is just one of the many important leads that provides vital and valuable clues to how the so-called Hebrew redaction, which we call the Babylonian Hebrew redaction, in the post-Ezra or Ezra versions of the Masoretic Tanakh of the Bible came about, and who's who and who was involved in this recovery text. And this was taken from the preliminary notes on ancient Ethiopian history by Hailu Habtu of the Department of History, the City College, City University of New York, CUNY, in 1987. And he